Welcome back to this very special edition of Tell Me About Your Damn Book, live at the 2018 New England Authors Expo. I'm your host, Stephen Lomer, and joining me right now is Dana Gambardella, who is a children's author. Hello, Dana.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good.
So, I did some research on you, obviously, because I can't just sit here and stare blankly, because this is an interview show, for crying out loud. You graduated from Providence College
I did.
with a master's degree in literacy and an undergraduate degree in special and elementary education.
I did.
My goodness. What drove you in that direction?
I come from a long line of educators in my family. My father was a elementary school principal,
Okay.
and my mother was an elementary school teacher.
Okay.
And since I can remember, I have been an avid reader. So even as a young child, I used to be caught under the sheets in bed with a book.
Nice.
So I've just always felt that children deserve the best education they possibly can have. And with my passion for literacy and my care for children, I just knew that was the direction I needed to go in professionally.
Nice. Okay. Excellent. This says, if this is correct, you worked for almost 20 years with elementary and high school students as a reading specialist and consultant.
I'm currently a reading specialist in a public school system in Rhode
Wow.
Island, yes.
Okay.
For nearly 20 years.
Wow.
I've worked with elementary students as well as high school students.
Okay.
And in the summer, I would do private consulting and home tutoring over the summer months.
Okay. So now if you've done that for almost 20 years, you must have seen an evolution in that and changes in approaches to that, I would think.
In approaches to literacy education?
Yes.
Yes, I think that there are always best practices that a stellar educator refers to in their teacher toolbox. But, research is always evolving, and, students' needs are always changing too, because there's not just one quick fix for every learner. So you have to make sure that you are equipped with many different tools so that you can address those different needs.
Sure, sure. Now, how has technology impacted what you do?
Technology has impacted what I do quite a lot because, the kids that I service and work with, they're in this age. They don't know anything different. So you want to keep them engaged in literature and in reading. You want them to be able to have creative components to their literacy instruction. And just those two things alone are easy avenues to integrate technology. And integrating different apps and tools allows the at-risk learner or the learner who struggles to feel a little bit more comfortable in the reading process.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you feel like the kids are reading more these days? Are they reading less? Are they reading differently? Is it harder to get them to read than it was? Are we looking at a generation of kids who are more interested in watching video? Not that there's anything wrong with watching videos, people, but who are more interested in apps and games than reading? Is it a danger?
I think everything in moderation is how I approach things with students and children. Those students who are really interested in the technology and the video games and playing on their phone, and I think that they just haven't found the right book yet or the right piece of literature.
Okay.
So it's our responsibility as educators and models of proficient reading to offer them time to read and amounts of time to read, as well as various types of genres to choose from.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Just so that they can find something that they like.
Sure, sure. Yeah, actually, I recall being a young reader and being a young man and not being interested in reading, and then by happenstance I ended up with a copy of Eyes of the Dragon by Stephen King.
Oh, wow.
And I read it and I absolutely fell in love with it, and I thought that was the type of book that Stephen King wrote all the time, and I was terribly disappointed to find out that was not the case. But no slight against you, Mr. King. If you want to be on the show, please contact me. So we don't want to leave the people hanging for too long.
Okay.
but in deference to the books that we're talking about and your lifelong passion, Dana, tell me about your darn book.
Thank you very much for saying darn, because
Darn.
these are, the genre is children's.
Children's book, yes,
and,
that's fine.
we want to use the word darn. I really appreciate that.
Darn.
So,
It's the same first letter,
right,
so
absolutely.
it still works.
Absolutely, absolutely. So my first book is called Mama Bear's Magic.
Okay, let's turn that a little bit toward the
Oh,
camera
thank
so
you.
everybody can see. All right, good.
And this is a funny tale about bath time. And it actually embraces Tiny Bear's process, so that he can come to realize that bathing is actually very fun and, a healthy practice.
Uh-huh.
And what I like about how it's approached in the story is that Mama Bear embraces her child's process, and through clever tactics makes him realize on his own that it's something that he wants to do.
Okay, nice.
So my second book is called Grandma's House.
Okay, let's make sure that everybody can see that. Good, good.
And again, this story also embraces process. This is actually a memoir about my Italian grandmother and her house that I mentioned earlier.
Uh-huh.
This is her house that still stands in Providence, Rhode Island today.
Wow.
All of the illustrations, including the cover, replicate her house specifically, and the contents and items in her home that I remember through memories.
Wow. Neat.
Including her kitchen, which was the biggest part of, our relationship,
Sure.
and in fostering my love of cuisine and cooking as well.
Uh-huh.
But this is definitely a savor the senses type of look,
Uh-huh.
and it starts with me in childhood and comes full circle, and at the end, through a series of vivid memories, I come to realize as an adult that those cherished memories are what just keep your memories alive forever. And it's just so touching because as an adult, she's not here anymore. But through this work and through sharing this with students who actually embrace it from all cultures, because it doesn't matter if you're Italian or a different ethnicity, when I share this with students, they're like, oh yes, my grandmother makes the soup. Oh, we had an Afghan like that. Christmas looks like that in my house.
Uh-huh.
And it's just so touching. And she was my very dearest fan and friend, and this is a true tribute to her.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
And some of colleagues of mine have actually taken it to use it for instructional purposes already, because it's filled with sensory images and adjectives. So teaching students how to write with description, as well as memoir writing.
Sure.
It's a
Sure.
good start.
Nice. Excellent. And so if someone's looking for a copy of either of your books, where would they go?
Currently, they can go on my website. It's literacychefpublishing.com.
Okay. And they can get a copy there?
They can. Phone orders also.
Wow. Phone orders, old school.
401-375-BOOK. They can. That's fine too. A lot of Rhode Island customers use the phone, and so we connect that way because I love connecting with my readers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So.
Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.